Welcome back to the forum where we discuss social and cultural issues using facts, logic, and history from a Christian perspective. My name is Monet, and with me we have
Michelle, Alexis,
and Prentice White.
and a special guest, Michelle Saker Martinez. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm a mom of two, an educator, and a lifestyle coach, which ended up turning me into a runner.
Very nice. I love it. I know we're going to hear a lot more about that. To those of you online, welcome.
Yes, please join the conversation. This is not a one-way conversation. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And just join in. And we'll be looking for your comments, and we'll respond in kind.
Awesome. So we're at the beginning of a series, New Year, New Me. And last week we talked a lot about habits versus the resolutions that some of us often say. And, by the 5th of the month, we're like, oh, that thing, I forgot about that. And so I find it really cool that we get to sit down with Michelle and talk about some of your health journey. And we're talking about health and exercise today. So I think that it's going to be a good topic to get into, especially at the beginning of the year.
Right, yeah, definitely. And we just had that marathon this past weekend here in Houston. And I heard about this great story. A mother, a 35-year-old mother of three, she completed a marathon in 3 hours, just over 3 hours.
Which is a feat all by itself.
Pushing 3 kids in a stroller.
185 pounds.
That is insane.
That's just the fact that she finished in that good of a time and she was pushing 3 kids. Well, we have our own miracle sitting right here, Michelle. And I know that you successfully completed the Aramco half marathon this weekend. Congratulations.
I wear this everywhere.
Girl, I would for a good month. You wouldn't get me away from that thing. That is a huge accomplishment. And I know that it is only like a fantastic beginning kind of to part of your story. If you could just share for a minute.
Yes, actually, 6 months ago, I'd never run a day in my life. Not even in school when you had to run that mile at gym. I went elsewhere. And then 15 months ago, I couldn't even walk to the corner of my house, from my house to the end of the street. So a lot happened. And part of what I do as a lifestyle coach is I help people find what's going to push them. And one of my friends was like, I want to do a half marathon. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And then 5 minutes later, I said, did I really say that out loud? Like, oh no.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, signed up, posted it online. Everyone could
back
see
out
it
now.
And went for it.
Wow. And if you don't mind telling us your finish time.
4 hours and 15 minutes.
You go, girl.
I did not
That
get
is what
picked
I'm
up.
talking- I know you didn't get scooped up by the vans. You were telling us about the people circling like vultures.
Oh, yeah, like the last 3 miles, the medic bicyclists are like just circling around the last few that made it, because we've made it. We're almost there. And you just have to grin and make sure they think you're okay so they can go on. Still alive.
And that brings us to the question of today, honestly, because a lot of people might be wondering, do I have to be fit to be healthy? Because, your journey alone, you went from, one stage to another, and now you're just this marathon runner. And people might be wondering, do I actually have to be fit in order to be healthy?
Before we get to that, we will be having prizes, and if you want to join in and be eligible for one of those prizes, please text HEALTH to 81781-FORUM. And please comment, like, and share, like we talked about before, and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing from you.
So, back to our question. Do I have to be fit to be healthy? What say you?
I think it depends.
One word.
Depends.
Okay, good.
What is fit? Like, how are you defining fit? Because if you ask different people, you're probably going to get a different answer. Some people may say, oh, if I can lift so much, then I'm fit, you know? Or if I can run a marathon or whatever, I'm fit. But is that really what fit is?
Well, I am glad you said that because I am not a physiologist or a doctor, but I know how to use dictionary.com.
Nice
And
tool.
so, thank
Nice
you.
tool.
And when I looked up fitness, I found it interesting that the first definition of fitness is health.
Absolutely.
Imagine
I agree.
that.
Because I think fitness and health go hand in hand.
Like not a either or kind of thing, but more like a both and kind of feeds into one another. I found that really, and I do want to add a disclaimer. None of us are doctors. We're not like health professionals. I mean, I work in a hospital, but that's not the same thing. You know, we're not physiologists. We're not nutritionists. So all the health information that we talk about today, all the advice that we may give, that is from a personal opinion, from research that we've done on our own individually. So please, please, please talk with your doctor about starting any exercise regimen. Make sure that it fits your health needs and your capabilities before you begin. Super important.
Right.
We just want to make sure that you remember that. So the definition of fitness being health, how do those tie into one another? I mean, there's a stigma about being healthy, right?
Yes, and what healthy looks like.
Uh-oh, talk about it.
So, a lot of people think that if you're thin and relatively active, you're fit. And I think that you really need to take that away because that hinders so many people and limits so many people. Fitness goes in, first of all, it's the whole. It's a whole. We're talking about the body. When I teach kids about oxygen, you breathe it in, it goes to your lungs so that it helps your heart pump blood through your body. It's not just going to affect one part. It's the whole because guess what? Your brain needs oxygen to think.
Right.
So when I think of fitness and I think of health, it's as a whole. It's your mind and your body and your soul. And so it's not what it looks, but it's what you are going to accomplish, what you're going to set your mind to do. Your mind becomes fit when you decide, this is what I'm going to do, and you follow through with that. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to eat to fuel my body. I'm going to eat so that I have the strength and I have the energy to exercise and be able to accomplish all those things because it's for the well-being of your body.
You know, last week we talked about how to build good habits, and we talked about 5 principles of goal setting, and one of those was task complexity. And if you could just talk a little bit about that, because I think it matters that when people think, oh, I want to be healthier or I want to be fit, they almost cannot even envision what that would look like, how they can fit that into their day. So if you could just give us a quick feedback on how can I, as a person who doesn't have a regular exercise routine, how can I envision having a regular exercise routine? Like, how do I even work to start that off?
Yeah, it definitely has to be part of your daily routine. It has to be part of something that you do all the time, like brushing your teeth, which I hope everyone's doing that.
Right. Fit that in, please.
A good example. What I want to go with that is you can make the decision to do it. That's the easy part. Is saying, "Hey, I'm going to do it." But then in comes how you feel, the motivation. I'm motivated to do it, but motivation dies. And what happens when it dies? You need discipline. How do you find a discipline? You have to, number one, find your why. Why is it that you're doing this? For me, 16 months ago, sitting in a hospital bed thinking, my kids are my priority, and realizing, hey, what good is it that I'm their priority if I'm not there for them? So my why, and my excuse was, I don't have time, I have to take care of the kids, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. But what good did it do to have them as a priority when I'm sitting in a hospital bed not being able to take care of them?
Hold on. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you because that is so important. A lot of people think, what is the point? Anyways, I do all this exercise. It feels like torture. I'm eating this tofu, tastes like tofu, and I don't even enjoy it. And what is the point? We're all gonna die anyways. What is the point to all this fitness, healthy, whatever you want to call it? What is the point? And I like what you said right there about you not just wanting to live. You wanted to be, you wanted to be there,
present.
right? Be present. For your kids.
Absolutely. After high school, I battled eating disorder. And I promised myself that I would never go on a diet again, that I was done. This is me. Take it or leave it.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy life.
Right.
But guess what happened? I ended up on a couch, my kids bored to death, me not having any kind of energy to get up. I was miserable.
You didn't enjoy life.
It was not what I thought it would be. It was not freedom.
Right.
In fact, I ended up locking myself up in a situation where it didn't just affect me, it affected my family,
Right.
my friends, everything.
Yes.
And
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. I think when your body is not healthy, your mind suffers as well.
Absolutely.
And so you feel tired all the time. You don't have the energy. You may be going to work, but how are you performing at work?
Right.
absolutely. That's one
Kind
of
of
the
feeding in.
Yes, and that's one of the biggest things for me was healing my mind. And guess what? Healing your mind isn't just through reading and through different things that you would think would go through your mind. I was living in a cloud. Everything was hazy, and I didn't know it was hazy until it wasn't hazy anymore. And that didn't happen until I was eating right and exercising daily. And it's funny that you said that because I think about, the thing that went viral with the shoe.
Oh, yeah.
It's gray,
what
green,
color is it?
Pink and white. Well, I had seen it earlier on the post, and I was like, it's green and green and gray, which I thought is weird because I've never thought I was left brain. I thought I was right brain. I'm artistic, music,
Yeah.
Then my friend sent it to me later that day, and it was pink and white. I was like, why is it pink and white? I just saw it. So I went back to make sure it wasn't a different picture.
Right.
And it wasn't. The only thing that had changed was I had just finished working out. And there are so many studies that show how your brain functions differently with exercise, which is why in the classroom we encourage teachers, let the kids move, get up and move. Their brain needs it.
Right.
And then if you really think about it, well, your brain needs oxygen to think.
Right.
So how are you going to get more oxygen? And exercise makes you breathe in more oxygen. So your brain functions differently.
Right. And you mentioned a lot of studies. I had read a lot of articles coming out of Mayo Clinic. A lot of the physicians there talked a lot about the benefit of exercise, how it benefits us in every system of the body. So I think these days, not a lot of people can controvert the idea that we need to exercise, we need to move. It improves us, to overdo it. Is it possible to exercise too much?
Absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, I've definitely seen stories and articles where people went so hard at it, they didn't have rest days, and they actually got hurt.
Yes.
And that's one of the main reasons why people actually stop exercising.
Really?
Because they get hurt.
Right.
And it's really hard to get back on it after you've been out for so long.
Right. And I'm sure you feel a little defeatist, right? Because you're like, here I am trying this new thing.
Right.
I went ahead and busted my butt. Look at me
Right.
now. I'm done with it.
Right.
Absolutely. The biggest thing for me is learning that exercise is not a punishment for food. Exercise does not cancel out what you ate. If you're going to eat that donut, enjoy it.
You better.
Don't eat it every day. But don't punish yourself exercising because exercising isn't a punishment. It is something that should be a stress reliever, should be
A reward.
should be something you enjoy.
Yeah, in fact, that's how behavioral conditioning works, right? We avoid punishment and we seek rewards. So if you're treating exercise like a punishment, you're going to avoid it. I know for me, one of the greatest benefits that I've had from, like, let's say running or even, playing a sport or whatever, is that you feel good when you exercise, or you should feel good when you exercise. You might be overdoing it,
At least when you're done. At least when you're done, you should be like, yeah.
Right. So,
Like you
that's one of
accomplished
the
something.
benefits. Yeah. And actually, your mind, especially something like, you're a big runner now, your mind actually has a lot of time to, mull over problems, work things out, have those imaginary conversations a lot of us love to have. So exercise can be a huge stress reliever in the day.
Absolutely.
Right, definitely.
Some of the barriers that I've seen to exercise, because I know it's not easy for everyone to just pop off and say, well, let me say it like this. When people say, I'm going to now exercise, it's like this big monolithic, exercise. I am now going to be an Olympian. And it's like, no. You live here, you work here, and a lot of your day is filled with this. I think oftentimes we need to envision, how can we, like we talked about the task complexity, how can I break it down into those small, achievable, relational things that I can achieve in the time that I have.
Right. And I think that's one of the biggest things, time. Everyone says, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that.
Yes.
But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week with that matrix.
Yes,
We need to be operating
yes.
in the planning box. So we have to,
The important but not urgent, right? Top right?
Yes.
Yes,
right,
important but
right.
not urgent. is your
Decide
planning.
that you want to do it.
Right.
Get those clothes ready.
Right.
Prepare your lunch. Have your gym bag ready so that you can go and you can work out and there's no excuses.
I know that helped a lot. There are points in time where I go to sleep. I like morning workouts. Sometimes I have to go to sleep in my gym clothes.
Oh.
That way when I wake up, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you wake up and it's early, and that barrier is literally getting your gym clothes on is like the hugest mountain. Sometimes I had to go to sleep in my gym clothes.
Yeah.
That way I can pop up like a daisy and be like, I guess we're doing it because I'm already dressed.
I love that, and I do that a lot. And it's so funny. I always I try my best to do it in my workout in the morning, because my brain's not awake yet. So it kind of just goes through the
Automatic,
motion. And then I'm done. Like when I get home, if I
Yeah.
want to lay on the couch, I can,
Yeah.
because I've done what I needed
Right.
to do.
Right.
And I think it's important to know that you don't have to go to the gym and work out for 2 hours a day to be fit.
You know what? Let's open that up a lot more. Maybe we can talk about what works for us too, because we're all different here. We all have different, like lifestyles. We all have different situations. And I know for a fact from talking to different people that sometimes we envision having to do what someone else did to be quote unquote fit or to be healthy, or we envision some unrealistic goal for ourselves. Not saying it's unrealistic, like we shouldn't have, like you said, you had never really run that much ever in your whole life, and you envision doing a half marathon. That's not unrealistic for you, because you have legs, you can run, you can walk, you can technically do it. But
It
I'm
was
just saying,
unrealistic. But I had decided that I was going to commit to it.
then I'm sorry, it was realistic.
It was.
You did it.
You definitely
Thank
did it.
God. God really blessed me with this half marathon, because I had never even run a 5K before.
Right.
In fact, it was the first time with the girls group that I ran the 5K. It was freezing cold. If my goal was to run a 5K, I would have been done there and never run again, because it was not the best experience for me. But I had a bigger goal, and that bigger goal was that half marathon. I knew that was coming up. So I'm like, I can't stop. I got to keep going.
If I could, for a second, just compare, because we're talking about what works best for us individually. You mentioned to me at that 5K that, and I didn't know that you were scared at first, but afterward, she told me she was terrified. And one of the things that she was so scared about, which I found completely, I was like, are you serious? She was scared of being the last one left, of being the last one there running by herself. She had never run that much before. And I was like, that's completely irrational. There's people behind you. But she didn't see that because she was in her head about it. And do you know that you told me about you not being the last? You finished in an excellent time, and you were by no means the last person on the, they didn't have to come scoop you up. And so I really feel like we really have to get out of our heads sometimes.
Right. Yes.
You know, just know that we can do these things. Know that we can stick to goals.
Right.
And just do it. And don't worry about even if you were the last one. You accomplished
made
your
it.
own goal, right?
Exactly.
Set your own goal for you.
Right. And I think it really is important to just do it. Like in the gym at my job, they have
No
a sign
association.
there.
This was not endorsed by Nike.
Right. But they have a sign and it says 10 minutes of activity is better than none.
Absolutely.
And there have been some times that, because I prefer to work out in the morning too to get it over with, and I don't have that healthy relationship with exercise yet, but I prefer to do it in the morning. And sometimes I may wake up late and I'm like, I don't have time to go spend 30, 45 minutes in the gym, so I'm just not going to do it. Right. But I had already had my gym clothes on, so I just went to work and I was like, no, I'm just going to go straight to the showers and go to work. I was like, there, I saw that sign and I went and I felt a lot better. Like, I had a lot more clarity starting off my day.
Yes.
So I think it's important that even if it's just going to be a walk or whatever, you can get it in. Like, you can squeeze it in.
Right. There's many times, most of my training didn't happen running. Most of my training happened at home, workout videos, 30 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And I have kids. So my biggest thing, I couldn't get to the gym early enough where there was childcare or late enough where there was still childcare. Right. So I was able to find this that worked for me at home. And sometimes I would do 10 minutes, I would have to pause, go change a diaper, go start dinner, come back, do 10 more minutes. Right. But it didn't matter because it got done.
Right.
Just like you said, it got done.
And you know the research that comes through...
Switch your mic. Your mic.
The research that comes down from the health department actually advocates for that and says, you know, the recommendation is 30 minutes of brisk cardiovascular activity. That's the minimum, guys. That's been studied, that's been researched for optimal health at the minimum. 30 minutes a day of any kind of cardiovascular activity. And there's so many things that you can do. But you don't have to have that 30-minute chunk at once. If you can't manage it, you can break it up into 5s, into 10s, into 15s. Like, you can break it up. Me, I have a no elevator. Y'all know at work, I have a no elevator policy unless I'm going down. If I'm going up, I'm taking the stairs. When I first get there in the morning, that's like my free space, my free elevator ride. Other than that, no elevator. I have to take the stairs. And it's only 3 flights up to the 4th floor. But, you know, it's a little bit of something that I can do throughout the day to kind of keep myself, you know, moving.
Yeah.
Prentice, what do you do to stay moving?
I run and try to catch the bus.
You're on the what?
To catch the bus.
I'm always
You do. I know you do.
Yeah, because you know I'm always running late. But anyway, seriously, if what I try to do is in the morning I'll just wake up and roll out of bed and start pushing up.
Oh, I kind of need that in my life.
Because I don't get to the gym. I have to do stuff on my own. And so I get up in the morning. I try to do what's called the Daily 7. Something that we did in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Where you just
Which is?
do 7 exercises. Do 7 of them and try to just daily 7 exercises. And you know, you pick out. I pick out 7 myself because I'm not in the Marine Corps anymore. And whatever I can do at the edge of my bed, you know, before I wake up the kids, then I just hurry up and do that. If I'm not going to do like a full-on, you know, 30, 40-minute workout.
Right.
And sometimes I'm still working out while I'm getting dressed and stuff, and the kids wonder why I'm running late.
Right. Squats while you brush your teeth. I mean, I've been there, done that. Waiting on the microwave, leg lifts, squats. I mean, you can fit it in. I think we just need to switch our brains to incorporating it into our daily routine and making it just a part of life instead of some horrible destination. Oh, now I have to go exercise.
Right. A perfect example of that. My son, before, when Alejandro was little, he didn't get that thing. So now he's like, oh, we have to work out. And I'm like, yeah. But Melly, she grew up watching me, and now she's like, okay, it's time to work out. Let's just do this. It's just part of her day.
One of the things that I want to point out is that when we're kids, we look forward to those types of things like going outside and playing, things of that nature.
Yes.
And you got to kind of try to put yourself in that mindset a little bit. Trying to be like, okay, this is going to be fun. I'm going to break my barriers to some degree, or at least I'm going to at least meet my goal for the day. Sometimes I when I first started again, because I had stopped for a long time, also because of a shoulder injury. And one of the things that I had to do was say, okay, I don't feel like doing this. I'm going to start with 10. Now, I'm better than that. I can do more than 10. And so I would start trying to push out, push up and do whatever I'm doing, and just try to push those barriers and try to make it fun for myself.
Absolutely.
So are you saying that exercise should be play? Because I think a lot of adults wouldn't necessarily say that.
I think that we should try to strive to put it in the position of play. Yes, I mean that's how kids learn.
You want me to play?
Yeah.
You got to find your vibe, Monet. You have to find your vibe.
Oh, I have a vibe, trust me.
You have to find it. Like some people like doing CrossFit or different video, like the hardcore stuff.
Right,
doing the weights. Some people love running. Like my son Alejandro loves running with me, and I know he loves running with me because it's our time. Like it's just me and him. Nobody else runs. It's just us. So it became his form of enjoyable exercise. He won't do the videos with me. Melly will. But he'll run with me because that's his thing.
That's
beautiful. So you have to find your thing. You have to find whatever works.
Right.
And parents need to make it play for your kids, but intentionally daily. Like it's your job to make them think they're playing, but you need to know consciously that you're creating this active lifestyle for them.
They're developing healthy habits.
Right.
And it's interesting because, when certain kids do these types of things, they just look at it as fun because that's their heart, until the world kind of gets in there and messes with their mind.
Right.
But, the Bible says, unless you become like these little children, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And if you look at the original humans, what were they doing?
Working.
They were working. They're right.
Exercising.
Right.
Gardening. Gardening is hard work.
It
is
is.
not for the faint of heart.
It is. You're doing lots of squats, number one.
Bends, lifts, tucks.
Exactly.
You've been
So
gardening lately?
Right.
They were very active. It was just part of their natural being, and it wasn't necessarily seen like work. It was just their habits and things that they did. After the fall, the man's curse was you're going to sweat and you're going to toil by your hands to eat. These days, not everyone is doing that. A lot of people have desk jobs. They're sitting down all day, or they're doing other things that are not really active.
And God said it was a curse, but I think it was a curse with like a blessing mixed in, because he kind of knew we needed that activity in order to keep us at our optimal healthy state.
Right, mentally.
Well, I think that we should finish with some tips. I like my tips. So I found that there are certain aspects of our exercise that we should incorporate, and I just want to bring those out. I'm sorry, I did not have them ready, but this is an article from Healthy Lifestyle Fitness, Mayo Clinic. And they say that there are several elements of a well-rounded routine, 5 elements. And the first is aerobic fitness. And so aerobic is when you're getting that heart rate up, right? The oxygen exchange going to a certain rate.
A lot of cardio.
A lot of cardio. The second is strength training, which is so important. I know a lot of people are, you need gains.
Do you even lift, bro?
I know. Do you even lift?
I lift.
I mean, don't worry about looking like a bodybuilder, honestly. And especially as you get older, you need resistance training because your bone density gets less. You lose muscle mass. So you need to kind of keep that up for optimal health. Then core exercises are a big deal because your core drives everything you do, right?
Absolutely. After being on bed rest for 9 months with Melly and not doing any kind of physical activity, I would lay on the floor and I couldn't even lift up my legs.
Wow.
And, small 15-minute core exercises daily.
Right.
I was told by doctors I wouldn't be able to do sit-ups. Well, guess who does sit-ups and push-ups
You.
and leg lifts?
You.
Because I worked at it.
Right.
Little
Yes.
steps.
Little by little.
Little by little, but you strengthen the core.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't just affect my core and my strength, it affects my endurance and ability to do things like run a half marathon.
Right. So aerobic training, strength training, core exercises, balance training, because a lot of us are actually naturally lopsided because, no, seriously, like being right-handed, left-handed, doing the same things on the same
Right.
side of the body, like we need that balance training in order to be more
And
equal.
that's
very interesting.
important to avoid injury.
Yes.
Is balance training.
Yes, one side gets more stress than the other, so it's important. And the last one is flexibility and stretching, which is crucial to not only maintaining health, but reducing the rate of injury. So if you can work all of those, or even break them up into different workouts, but just make
Or
sure you're
different
getting
days.
different
you don't have
days,
to do it
yes.
all on the same day.
Yes, although I would encourage you to always stretch before and after exercising is a good idea. But yeah, cover all the bases, and you should be well on your way to developing a well-rounded routine and not just, be, all this and like, chicken legs.
Never
or
skip leg day.
all this and the chicken arms, or, just you could be a more well-rounded, healthy person.
All right. One of the things that I want to leave with you before we leave off is a Bible verse I found. It's in the book of Joshua. And he says, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. So even when you're trying to do these things, just remember that, we're going to pray right now. And we're going to pray for you to be encouraged, and that you can join in with us, and so that the Lord thy God can be with you as well. Let me pray.
Sure, let's bow our heads. Father in heaven, thank you so much for this talk. Lord, we have learned so much from each other, and I pray that you will help us to continue to be inspired, motivated, determined, and disciplined to improve our habits, to improve our health, Lord. Help us to find the ways that we can do every day in little ways, Lord, to get where we need to go with our health. I pray that you will give each of us the motivation internally that we need, but also give us the discipline, Lord, that we need to stick with it even when we don't feel like it. Please be with us as we continue in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, well, stay healthy out there, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining our program today. What part benefited you the most? Comment below and let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you are in the Houston area and you are looking to join the conversation in person, come check us out on the web at HoustonCentralSDA.org. See you next time.